Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I am your nerderator, Dustin House. Spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. You can find me here every Thursday at noon Pacific time on LinkedIn Live, where I'm interviewing a guest. And my guest today is Ben Albert. He is the owner, founder, and host over at
Bauer Marketing or Real Business Connections.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Ballard is quite the joint word there for your name.
B. Albert.
Love it. Welcome to the Nerdatorium, Ben.
Let's have fun. I'm excited to be here and welcome to LinkedIn Live for anybody watching live here.
Yes, awesome. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that I'm pretty knowledgeable about it, and it's a word that you've made up, but I've been following for a long time, and it's called creation-driven networking, and it is all about. We're going to get into it. Before we do, Ben, tell us about who you are.
I'm just a regular dude trying to figure it out like everyone else, Dustin.
All right.
Who am I? That's such a big question because I'm a lifelong learner. I have a podcast myself because I love to learn from brilliant people. I'm a helper at the core. My goal is always to add way more value than I take. And I'm just here to have fun with you. Sometimes I can be a little self deprecating, but I'm not cut from some magical cloth. I'm just an ordinary guy that got in the mud, learned some things, found a passion for marketing, found a passion for people, found a passion for podcasting, and have made a career out of it, which is fantastic.
Yes, awesome. I think that's how most of us get started in marketing. It's not like the dream growing up, but like fall into it and figure out you're good at it and go down the avenue that you want. We can all make a career out of it. Tell us about what you're doing and who you're serving out there now.
Yeah, we like to amplify thought leaders, and I like to joke like amplifying the best kept secret. So, my number one source of revenue isn't affiliate specifically. The two main things I'm doing is I'm amplifying other thought leaders, some of which have affiliate programs, products, their own podcasts, their own influence, and I'm building a community grow getters only for that peer to peer support. And we joked before we jumped on that I might ask you some questions because part of why I built a community is just to build a career on trust, build a career on peer to peer. You're going to make a couple recommendations for a couple LinkedIn tools. You already told me about that. If we have these conversations, everyone's better. And if everyone makes money doing it, sounds pretty good to me.
Awesome. And this is a practice that I've been utilizing for the last 5 to 10 years of my career of network marketing is super valuable to utilize when things might not be going their best. You can always fall back on your network and your community, and your friends in this industry are those that you make via these kinds of conversations. So glad you're in my network now and really excited about digging into the aesthetics of what that content driven networking really means. Can you give us a broad definition of what it means to you?
Yeah. So when we think of content driven networking,
Yes.
collaborate and network, I like to say there's a lot of C's because there's collaboration, there's creation, there's
Yeah.
content, there's community and network and relationships.
Mhm.
When you create and build relationships, that can drive pretty much all your networking endeavors. Now, but really simply put, I was never the life of the party. People say I'm chill. People like to be around me. I have a good attitude, but I wasn't the person that was going to walk into a busy bar and just become the life of the party and just draw the crowd. I was more quiet. I was more introverted, but I was also introspective and very thoughtful. So traditional networking events and networking as a concept felt icky or hard for me. It always felt difficult. And like when I have a meeting, that's great, one to one. When I have something planned in a structure, great. But I'm walking in, it's clanky, it's loud. I would struggle. And I thought, I am a creative and I like content and I'm interested and I like conversations. Does networking have to just be handing out business cards? And anyone who's done a lot of networking knows that isn't the case. But I felt that way. So I started a podcast because I wanted to find a way to hand out business cards, still create something and learn simultaneously. create content and a relationship simultaneously. I had a music podcast from 2016, but I started a business show in 2020 during the pandemic. And I had marketing services and podcast services and social media and SEO and website and all these things that I was offering. But am I going to just cold call a CEO and say, hey, I'm Ben. I just started my business today? What I did is I actually got to LinkedIn and started reaching out. I'm from Rochester, New York. So I started a Rochester business podcast and started reaching out to Rochester business owners, basically saying, hey, I have this Rochester platform for leaders in Rochester, business professionals. Would you like to be on it? And it was my way of one-to-one having an opportunity to connect with brilliant mentors, but create content at the same time. So not just call them up and say, hey, I want to sell you something, or hey, I want to pick your brain. It's, hey, let's create something together. Is there a possibility that I sell something? Yeah, maybe. They also could become a friend or a referral partner.
Yep.
Am I going to pick their brain? I don't like that term because you don't get the brain cells back. But I am going to ask them insightful questions about business ownership, and they're going to teach me how to become a business owner. So I created content and network, content and relationships simultaneously. And podcasting is just the Ben Albert example. I know you are creating content as we build a relationship as well, Dustin, on your podcast, but this goes in any field. It can just be tagging someone in a LinkedIn post. So instead of just talking about me all day long, you can reach out to someone and say, hey, I want to tag you in my next LinkedIn post because I really like what you said about this. Then you make a post about them, you tag them, they reply, then their network suddenly starts to see your content. And the way I built my LinkedIn audience was literally just on the backs of other giants. It was finding influential people, creating something with them, even if it was just an infographic or a quick picture or a quick quote or a podcast or something like this, like a live stream. You create and network, and then suddenly you're like cool or like a professional. Like people are like, Ben, the guru of marketing. And I'm like, I've only been a business owner for 4 months. Let's calm down, guys. I've still got a lot to learn. But that was 2020. Now it's 2025. And it's still my number one strategy. How can we create and network simultaneously and build an audience and an army while we do it?
Awesome. And I never really thought about it in the long-term effect of building this network, but 130 episodes deep, I naturally just done this with the podcast. This podcast was created to sell my online course, which I don't even sell anymore, but I pivoted into, yes, I have been using the term pick brains of people that come on and who just know more about affiliate marketing than I do, or specific details about marketing that I'm not necessarily good at. So I'm learning and creating content at the same time. And I absolutely love just making new friends as well. You've got this creation. How did you come up with this concept? Did you fall into it, or is this something you planned all along?
Yeah, I sometimes, so this is why I like mediums like this, where we can talk about what we learned, because I had good intuition, but I had sales chops. I was a sales executive at a previous firm, but I didn't know this stuff per se. I just knew that I started Rochester Business Connections. It's now called Real Business Connections. I was from Rochester, New York, and I had no business connections. So I literally called it Rochester Business Connections. And LinkedIn, a friend request was called a connection request. And I intuitively knew that if I had a platform, there'd be a higher probability that people would say yes. If I have a blog, higher probability people will spend time with me. If I have an Instagram account, higher probability people say yes. Did I know that there'd be, like we talked about at pre-show, there's mentors, there's peers, and there's audience. We can go into that. But did I know that there could be a framework? Did I know that you can systematize it? Did I know you could be strategic? Not really. I just wanted to get in the room with business owners. And I was like, how can I get in the room with business owners? And I asked these questions out loud today because someone might not start a podcast. But what about it's a this isn't an affiliate example, but it came to mind. You've got a financial advisor that has a couple side hustles who likes taking photos. So they're the one at the kids' game taking pictures originally just for their son. But people are like, I like your photos. I'm not trying to put you to work, but can you take a couple pictures of my kids out there on the field? And then you start building a community around your photography, even though it has nothing to do with your financial advice or your online program, your SaaS, or any of what you're doing. You build a community and you network by creating something. I'm going to give you this gift of a photo. So, what is your podcast? What is your photo? Graphic designers, like I said, make quotes of celebrities, possibly. Videographers maybe do video editing. Writers start a blog. We can fill in the blank, but think about who is the people that I want to get in the door with. They could be my mentor, they could be my peers, they could be audience mentees, people that I'm looking to possibly sell to. Who are these people? How can I create content to bridge the gap between me and them? And if I add value, and again, I might ask you a couple questions right now. My long-term goal is I have a service-based business primarily. I make a little bit of money off affiliate work. My long-time goal is to be a trusted enough podcaster, speaker, educator, friend, community builder that I don't have to have a big team in service-based, that I can set up a team of partners and make recommendations to my partners. That's the long-term game. But in my thought process, which could be wrong, I didn't want to start slinging products before I had any trust.
Mm.
And now that I've used this to build trust, it's way easier for someone to come to me and say, Ben, I appreciate all you do in all these categories. I need help here. And I go, I can't help you, but Dustin can.
Okay.
Go trust him. That's the long-term vision.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And ultimately, that's what I want to do in affiliate marketing. I want people to have questions and come to me. I can help point them in the right direction. I have no ambition to make my own agency or to do services. I don't want to be in the services industry. I want to be in the networking industry and business. So I want to make those friends and give them my honest suggestions on the tools that I have seen work out there and the services that I know are doing good business. Funny enough, you should say like the podcasting and building that trust. Maybe my fourth episode was with one of my favorite people on earth, Amber Spears, who is the greatest network marketing guru that I've ever met in my life. She came on and she said something very notable of, would I have taken a phone call with you and hung out with you? Probably not. But she asked me to be on your podcast. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take some extra content. Let's get some extra exposure and have that conversation. And it turned out to be outstanding. And that was a very big clicking point early on in my podcast to recognize that there is a huge value in asking people to be on your podcast and turning that into a friendship for the future.
Couldn't agree more. The term I like to use is being the center of their gravity. If you have a podcast on X, Y, and Z, and you have an audience, even if it's small, that's interested in X, Y, and Z, you can offer experts to come on and they're like, hell yeah, this is my people. And the audience is, heck yes, these are my people. And you almost, I don't want to use the word trick because I don't like the concept of a trick. It takes like hard work, but you jumped into a category that you might not be the expert in yet.
Mhm.
And now you're positioned as an expert. And then when you're learning, you become the expert. You're being it until you become it.
Yeah, great call. How are you leveraging this into like speaking opportunities, utilizing your experience in the podcast and your networking?
Yeah, I'm not a professional speaker, so bring someone on who's making six figures on just speaking. I have offers, and then you make money on the back end by
Yeah.
providing offers when you speak. But really, it's if you were to look at like my speaking page, if you were to include podcast interviews, I've done over 1,000 events. If you were to just include me as a podcast guest or speaking at a live event, I've done about 200. I think I've broken the 200 mark.
Okay.
Now, 180 of them have been podcast interviews. 20 of them have been in-person events. Actually, if I'm doing the math wrong, because I've probably done 50 virtual, I've done many 150 plus podcast interviews, and then about 20 live events. But someone sees, they're not going to read every single line item. You build a massive catalog of experience, whether it was virtual, on a podcast, or live. And beyond the social proof build, realistically, you just get better at it. You get better at speaking by practicing. So when the big event does come up, you've already practiced on hundreds of podcasts. You've already practiced in a dark room when no one was watching you. You've already practiced. So you add value, you build trust. And if and when you provide a call to action, your conversion rate on that call to action is way higher because you kicked butt. You did a
Yeah.
good job. I don't know
And
if that answers your question. I don't know many speakers that make six figures just speaking. They usually make the money through selling a course, through selling an affiliate program, through other entities. I'm okay not getting paid to speak every single
right.
time.
And that's fine with me too. I've never had a paid speaking gig, but I
Hmm.
love taking the stage, and I love that this podcast gives me an additional avenue to getting on stages. And as my brand grows, and taking the stage and having some kind of call to action, I think is pretty important. One of your call to actions essentially is your network and your community. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is and what you're doing over there?
Simply put, so we put on free networking events monthly. We've been doing that for 2 years. The exclusive community is brand new because so many people are gaining so much value from the live stuff, like the once a month stuff. The free stuff is what I meant to say, that they were like, can we do more of this? Or can I pay to play because some of the people at the monthly are not as established as I am? And I'm like, sure, let's start a group, and kind of started it on a whim. And from day one and still to this day, we do $1 for 30 days.
Okay.
So the call to action is always very simple. If this was valuable and you want to be surrounded by other established entrepreneurs, the door is always open. It's
Okay.
$1. I buy the first month, they come hang out for 30 days. And if they enjoy the group, they're going to stay. They're going to meet people. They're going to do business together. They're going to make connections. And if it's not a good fit, no harm, no fall. They just showed up for a couple weekly calls. So when I do call to actions, like a scenario with us, we have a little, where'd you find us? All you got to do is type in the word Dustin, and I pay Dustin. If I'm on a stage and there's no affiliate, I just pay myself, really. But it's really easy because it's $1 for anyone to join. And then if they join through a recommendation and stay longer than the first month, more than the dollar, the person, Dustin is an example, gets paid. I'm not getting paid a ton. I'm building the community, and then they get to come and join other people and kick some butt. So even talking about it, I'm like, I sound so pitchy because it's never meant to be a sales pitch. It's
Yeah.
it's in the name, Grow Getters Only. Are you a
Okay.
growth-minded go-getter? Do you want to be surrounded by other people? If so, come hang out. And if you like it, pay to play and stay, but it's only $1 to hang out. So it's free to hang out. So
Smart.
I always hate pitching it because I don't want to talk someone into it. Because someone I have to talk into coming doesn't want to be there. I'm forcing them to be there.
Okay. Yeah, I like the dollar entry fee. It seems very affordable to go test that out. Love that you're playing around with that as well. But the community aspect, being around like-minded people is always super beneficial. And I love doing it myself as an entrepreneur out there. So amazing that you're building that out. I'm actually building out a new community myself, not just from the affiliate manager standpoint, but I'm starting to build out a new influencer community where I'm helping influencers learn about affiliate marketing and not have to struggle with begging for sponsors and things like that. Utilizing affiliate marketing is a real big key and something I'm attuned to teaching those influencers out there. Is there anything in affiliate marketing that you're utilizing right now? I know it's not a big revenue stream for you, but any big products that you like promoting?
Amazon's easy
Yeah.
because if there's a book, if there's an audio book, you just send them the Audible. I'm a huge fan, as a podcaster, I'm a huge fan of Auphonic,
Mm,
Auphonic, very simply because you can do audio or video. It is a lot of tools, but I use it for the leveling.
okay.
So I know we can nerd out, but to keep it very simple for any listener, sometimes you get a file that's really soft, one person's soft, the other one's loud. Sometimes it's louder than other times. And if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a podcast or any kind of platform, if there's inconsistency in volume, it's just not a good experience.
For sure.
If I'm laying in bed and it's loud and then it's soft and then it's loud, it's a crap experience. So in literally like 45 seconds, it solves all those issues. And I've
Nice.
been using it since 2016. So the tool's only gotten better.
Oh, excellent. All right. And anything else that you're using that you want to educate the folks out there with? Any networking tools that you find extremely useful?
DMs, we a whole nother podcast. And I don't want to insult anyone, but I think a lot of people do DMs wrong. It's too generic. It's not always as personalized as it can be. I don't know if that's just in the tool or the messaging, but to me, there's no easier way to start a conversation than to start a conversation. Whether you're using a tool with a team, whether you're writing the scripts, or if you're doing it manually, the best thing you can do is just open a conversation, invite someone to do something of value, invite them to a networking event, invite them to listen to a podcast, invite them with free content, or don't even invite them, just love on their content, support them, and they're going to go, what do you do again? But there's a big problem, and this is a whole nother podcast. There's never been more content. The amount of content we're making by the minute is more content than was made in like all of the year 2000. In 1 minute, boom, content just gets flooded in the world. But you're not communicating if there's no conversation. It's a one-sided form of communication. If people are consuming it, you can call it communication. But there's a lot of content that's not getting many hits, not converting, not getting enough traffic, and you might not have income to pay for the ads to ensure it does. But there's a direct message button that's free, and you can just start messaging people. I think it's the most underutilized thing. If anyone wants to get my attention for a podcast, for example, don't message me a brick wall of text in my email. DM me
Thanks.
on LinkedIn. Say, hey, listen to you on the show with Dustin. Keep up the good work. You'll get my attention immediately. So I could talk all day on this, but I think the most underutilized tool is just sending people direct freaking messages.
And that connection request on LinkedIn is super important as well. If you don't cater that to the person you're doing, if it's just generic, that's going to get overlooked. But if you are very specific, hey, I saw you on Dustin's podcast, loved your work, that's the times that you make that connection and you get a response. So it's super important in that aspect.
Response.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. This has been great, Ben. Appreciate your time and discussing this topic. This is something I absolutely love. How do we get a hold of you?
It's easy. If you're watching on LinkedIn, click my face or whatever. It's Ben Albert. My podcast is called Real Business Connections. If you can't spell it, you probably need the podcast because we got a lot of good education. You just type in the words Real Business Connections into Google. You'll find me there.
Great.
And yeah, thanks for having me, Dustin. It's been fun.
Yeah, you got it, man. Thanks for being here. And for all those affiliate managers out there, keep on recruiting. We'll see you next time. Take care.